Good afternoon. Welcome to Sage Saturdays. Are you guys ready to set yourselves free? How have you been experiencing this past week and all of the energies helping us to wrap up the eclipse season? You know, I will be the first to admit that last week when I said that um, this time of wrapping up was going to be easier than the actual eclipse, I was wrong. I am definitely going to admit that. This week has been extremely challenging for so many of us. And yet there's been some huge breakthroughs that have come through as a result, but not without plenty of challenge to our mental thinking, to our belief systems, to how we've been operating in the world. Good morning, Jenny. Actually, it might be morning where you are. It is afternoon here now. And welcome, welcome. And whoever else is joining us live, jump in and let me know that you're here. I'm really happy to see you and really wanting to come into community and share like all of this incredible stuff that I've learned this week and hear what you've learned. So drop into the comments. Oh, your timing was off. That's really funny because I'm going to talk about divine timing. I love that, Rosalie. Hello, Stephanie. Good to see you. So, yeah, just drop in the comments. Let me know like what major theme came up for you this week and what awareness has landed for you today around it. You know, I thought this whole week has been revolving around wrapping up a lot of money lessons that I've been learning during this eclipse and ideas around how I interact with clients and the world around me, and also in my personal relationships. So all of this coming up around money, yeah, it definitely was a really challenging week. I know, and I'm so sorry, you guys. I told you it was going to be easier, and it really wasn't. In fact, I feel like this week was the hardest week of the eclipse, not getting easier. But today I feel like it's gotten easier. Today I feel like the clarity is finally landing. The awarenesses that wanted to drop in all week have been landing, and like my mind is, opening up to what's possible. And let me know if it's feeling that way for you. If it's not, know that it is coming and you can invite it in at any moment, because the energy today is supporting us in this. We do have the Ace of Clubs today. So the Ace of Clubs is a semi-fixed card. That means that sometimes they can get stuck in their thinking, right? They're a little bit more stubborn than the average person, but they also have supporting them today in this particular Ace of Clubs day, the Five of Clubs and the Five of Spades, which helps us to open up our mind and bring in expanded thinking and possibility thinking. So that energy is available to us today, even though there's this semi-fixed card that's, the ruling card of the day. So that's, good to know, because we are really being invited into what can we learn that's new today? What can we open ourselves up to through reflection? Because this is our collective Uranus day. So reflecting back on this week is really going to help bring in and drop in those awarenesses. I spent all morning just reflecting, doing meta cues from the past. So that's reflection, right? And so going on those replays, listening to the one on values and one on love. And then I just reflected too. I meditated and reflected. I journaled. And it was like all of this awareness dropped in about, like deeper understanding of my core issues with all those fears that were being stirred up this week for all of us. Massive, like deep-seated fears, our dark stuff really being dug up and out. And I don't know if you guys, so I was just going to ask about the physical symptoms, Stephanie, and I just saw your comment. You're experiencing a headache today. Okay, so yes, we have been under a lot of stress this week, and this is the point in the divine timing cycle where we want to rest, right? The 9 is inviting us into rest and releasing stress. A lot of stress and anxiety came up this week for many of us through all of these deep fears that were being uprooted to really, pull them out of us so that we can release them and expand into what's next and into this big heart opening that is happening again this coming week. And so, the headache is inviting you into, yes, resting your mind from all of the mental activity. So that tells me you've been very, very caught up in the mind, which makes sense. A lot of us have. And the 9 is actually a mental number. So it's really important for a 9 energy day to be aware of that and bring yourself more into your heart space. Allow your heart and your intuition to take the reins. The headache is telling you that you've been trying to let your ego run the show. So this is really an invitation into resting the mind. There are great ways to rest the mind where, meditation's one way, but if you're finding meditation difficult because of all of the mental energy, I had difficulty meditating several days this week and didn't even try to do it because I knew it would just be cruel to try and do it with that much mental energy and try and force myself into it. Hi, Martha. And so what I did instead is I did more active meditations. I did metacues. I did walking meditations outdoors. I did, more journaling and reflection, things like that to help me move through that energy a little bit easier in a more gentle way than trying to force myself to sit in quiet and just be in all of this mental overload. And it really did help. So I'm inviting you into that today, Stephanie, and also hydration, because there's a lot of energy moving through us, and headaches from a physical perspective are usually caused by dehydration. So lots and lots of lemon water. And yes, just rest and take it easy today. Allow yourself to know that you've done enough. That was the other thing that came up for me around this energy today is trust that whatever transpired this week, all of the judgments around it and how you handled it, let them go. This is really a big invitation with this 9 energy as well as, and this Ace of Clubs. So the Ace of Clubs, it doesn't have the usual karma cards that most of the other signs have. The semi-fixed and the fixed signs have very specific cards, and the Ace of Clubs flip-flops with the Two of Hearts all the time. So they're running through life together, very connected. The Two of Hearts is that reflection of self-love of your own self-love through others being reflected back to you. So, this is really this headache that you're experiencing, Stephanie, is really about where have you been placing too much emphasis on that reflection instead of just loving yourself, instead of just bringing it in and accepting. This 9 is asking us to accept who we are and where we are in our journey in this now moment, and let go of the judgments, let go of all of the mental spinning around the beginning of the week. Joy was sharing with us, and I saw that too, that energy that was permeating this whole week about regrets, about I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. And we're feeling that reflection today of that. Are you still sitting in regrets of how you might have, really wanted to navigate the eclipse season and even this past week, and just really letting all that go? That's the invitation today. You're welcome, Stephanie, because that's what I've had to do this morning too, is go, I've been judging myself the whole time of, I'm not doing things fast enough. I'm not, taking action on things fast enough as, they've been presented to me, and now I've screwed myself over and blah, 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 and all of this stuff. And what if none of that was true? What if you actually were in it in exactly the way you needed to be for you, and in this divine timing, you are now coming into the realizations that you need to come into. And, if you're not having those yet, perhaps it's just the judgments of not accepting where you're at that might be preventing the flow of those awarenesses to drop in that will really help move you forward. Yeah, really emotional week for me too. A lot came up. And you also practice the pause. Yeah, me too. And so celebrate that, The nine's also really wanting us to land into that celebration of what we did learn from this week, and from the eclipse season. And we still have a few more days left to wrap things up. So, the universe is always giving us more opportunities, more opportunities. So even if you feel like you didn't learn what you needed to learn or whatever, or you somehow didn't come out of it the way you would have liked to, it's okay. Like, you're gonna get another opportunity, and this isn't the last chance. You're going to be okay. You are okay. You are okay right in this moment. Let's see what Martha's saying. Sickness keeps circulating through your household, virus after virus. Mama's getting tired of it. Craving connection with people in the flesh. Finally going out for dinner with some friends tonight. Yeah, I love that, Martha. And the sickness going through the household is, really viruses, of course. You've been through mind shift. Viruses are energetic frequencies that are really just about us shifting our frequency higher, and they come in to help clear the body of, or maybe better put is to trigger the clearing within the body. It triggers the body's immune system to kick up a notch, to really see what's out of alignment, so that the body can be triggered into moving things out and moving things into better alignment. So they come in sometimes as a reflection of that, just to kind of trigger that waking up of those cells. And it's always a good thing. It always ends up clearing more out. So, even though it's not fun, uncomfortable, all of that, they do serve a great purpose. And craving that connection with people in the flesh. So that's one of the big ahas for me that came up today. All year for me, I have been feeling like I didn't have clarity around what I wanted. And I've been feeling a lot of shame around that, because here I am, a brain game coach, and this is what I help other people do. And I have been helping other people all year. And yet I felt for myself that I didn't really have the clarity and direction that I've been craving. And yet what I'm really realizing today with this awareness of, as the eclipses are wrapping up, is that I have been clear. I've been clear the whole time. It's just not what I thought it should be. It's more around that connection with people in the flesh for me. And so I love that you worded it exactly like that, Martha, because, we're seeing these mirrors today of everything that we're feeling and thinking and desiring, and, these reflections back to ourselves. And I love how you guys in your comments are reflecting back to me exactly what came up for me today, and I'm reflecting that back to you as well. And really what I've been discovering is that all of my money issues and issues around wealth in my life right now are really centered around this strong desire that I have put out into the world for several years now, about wanting more connection with people in the flesh. And, many of us have that desire because of what we experienced during the pandemic, but so many people have already gone out and made those connections again. And I have been scared to do that, because even before the pandemic started, I was still very isolated and sheltered in my home. And so the pandemic wasn't that big a shift for me. I've been working my business from home, and I work alone, and I live alone, and I haven't made a lot of local friends and connections. And, I've been really craving that. And I had set an intention at the beginning of 2020 to make a concerted effort to go out and make friends, and then the pandemic hit. So I was like, okay. So then when, things started to lift, I, said again, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go. And I just really, I've been making tiny efforts, but very little. Because mostly I've been using money as an excuse, as my scapegoat, because I've been afraid. Even though I really want that physical connection and intimacy with people, I'm also afraid of it. And so, really getting to see that really coming to a head this week and wanting to clear out. And and so it's beautiful because it's like, oh, like I knew for a long time now that the key to my money situation has been more self-love, but I didn't realize how strong a connection it was with allowing myself to actually go out and experience those physical connections with people. And that has been huge. And so I've gotten myself into such a financial situation now that I feel like forced to go out and maybe get a job or something like that. And really what's been happening is I've been getting intuitive nudges to, do more things in the community with the work that I'm putting out in the world, do more things locally, do, some events locally. And I haven't done it because I'm so caught up in survival. And so hello, Ashley, totally get this. Yeah. So that's what I've been, experiencing. I'm like, oh, so really the key to me opening up, unlocking the flow that's come down to a trickle again, once again, is getting out in the community and really opening up to those experiences, those face-to-face experiences with people. And I love the time that I have with all of you here online, and yet I literally, I don't have someone I can just call and say, hey, do you want to hang out? And that's what I have been calling in for some time. And the universe is like, okay, well, in order to have that, you actually have to leave your house. You actually have to meet people. And more than just going to the grocery store, you need to get out and, really interact with people and open up, more doors for those interactions to happen so you can actually meet the people that are your people, And so it's like, okay, all right, I'm surrendering to that with this 9 energy today. I'm really coming into that deep surrender and acceptance of, right, I need to go outside. I need to be with people in order to experience people. And so I'm really excited about the possibilities that this could open up for me. And even in the process of deciding, where I'm going to take this financial situation and where that plays into this, just, opening up to creating a list today of all the possibilities. Okay, how are all the possible ways I can connect with people in my physical local environment right now and share my gifts and share my talents and share my big message, and maybe doing a round of the brain game that's local somehow, and doing card readings locally, and just different things. So I'm looking at all that right now, and and maybe some one-on-one coaching that's actually local, in where I am face to face with my client in the same room instead of on Zoom, and still allowing me to do some of the work on Zoom as well and on social media, but not making that the only way. Because I really do love being able to connect with people around the world as well, and to be able to connect with all of you here in this group in the intimate settings. But I also need that local community experience as well. I want that. I desire that. And I've been calling that in and then ignoring the nudges to help me experience that. So yeah, let's see what you guys are, so Rosalie, you're at that trickle point too as the floodgates open again. Yeah. Martha, you can feel that you've been hermiting for over a year. It was good for you and needed in your journey. But man, I'm really missing the desire to connect in person. You feel me? Yeah. As I've changed so much, So finding new people to, oh, and yes, money value story for me is huge. Ongoing layers are being peeled back. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for the mirror as well. And Rosalie says, but you're just going to retreat into the canvas and hope for the best and trust. Yeah, so we're all getting these awarenesses, these intuitive nudges about what's next for us, and coming into this acceptance today of where we are in our journey, and trusting that it's okay, that all is well, that we just need to be willing to accept where we are, love where we are, celebrate where we are, so that we can move into this beautiful heart opening that's occurring right now. That, really this Ace of Clubs, Two of Heart energy is starting to open up the doorway for us into the Heart's energy this week. As we start going into that King of Hearts energy tomorrow with the One, there'll be even more awareness dropping in about how you can be the love and allow more love into your life, right? And our dreams about that, because it's our Neptune day. What are your big dreams and visions around it, having that experience for yourself and for the world? And moving into to Monday, where we have the Queen of Hearts and the Two energy. So, when I said in the description that we're, really about setting ourselves free from people pleasing and codependent behaviors of all kinds, depending on others for their approval, for their love, for our sense of belonging. But it's also about coming into that nurturing of self and others with love, and that sense of community that we've been desiring. And so, really looking at how are we moving through the world, and are we loving ourselves enough so that we can flow that love out from us and experience it being reflected back to us in our world, in our environment. And that's really what that Queen of Hearts 2 energy is calling us into, is to let go of, and even today, right, let go of the expectations and the neediness of what you can get from other people, and really landing into, by the end of next week, next Sunday being the Six of Hearts with the 8 energy, is really landing into that momentum of love for self first, and flowing that out, creating that alchemy of peace and ease in all our relationships, by just loving, by just dropping any expectations, any judgments, any criticisms, and really just landing into a pure state of love. And we have the new moon in Sagittarius right smack in the middle of our week, in the 10 of Hearts day, which we've had several new moons already in a row on a 10 of Hearts day. So we're really getting this theme hammered in this year about this opening to experiencing the overflow of love. These big heart openings coming in, and this new moon is in Sagittarius at 1 degree. So it's really opening us into that hope, that possibility. You're going to feel such a lift on this new moon, because it's on a 4 energy day, which is all about our hope, right? 4s bring in hope. And so, really about the hope for the world and the hope for ourselves in this experience of the overflow of love, and what that brings. But, more than even hope is, opening the door into what's possible, because that new moon moves into the next day of the 9 of Hearts and 5. So the 9 of Hearts is it's really the experience of the purest unconditional love, of the love for the greater good, the universal love. And 5 is saying that expansion of that belief in this being possible for us as a person, as an individual, as a family member, as a friend, as a community, as a world. And so, it's really pulling us into that huge heart opening again. And we just keep getting hit with these heart openings every month, to nudge us step by step. So it's not like the universe is making it really clear. It doesn't expect us to get this all at once. This is a process, and we're being so lovingly supported in this process. Even in weeks like we had this week, where it really doesn't feel like it's very loving. To me, I felt I was like, I'm in hell. This is brutal, right? And there were moments like that, and there were also moments where it was like, wow, this is amazing, and I got like these big insights and lessons and whatever. And so, just leaning into the trust that it's all working for our best and highest good, and that we're in our own journeys, in our divine timing for us. Don't compare yourself with anyone else around you. You're getting it at exactly the rate that you were meant to get it. And I think this is another one of the big things that really came through for me this week, is that, just honoring each of our own journeys. So for ourselves, and then also being compassionate and honoring others around us for wherever they're at, and not judging it as wrong or that it needs to be a certain way, and really letting go of that control, that need to be right. That all that stuff came up this week, right? So, it's been a challenging but beautiful week, and the week we're moving into, I think you really are going to feel this energy lift. If you're not feeling it yet today, you will feel it as the week progresses, and just hang in there, because you're right where you need to be, wherever you're at. Yeah, so I don't see any more comments coming in, so I don't know if you guys have just been mesmerized or left, or or you're just contemplating everything I'm saying. Hello, Shell. Good to see you. So yeah, we're really going to be. So it's interesting because we're moving into this heart's energy this week, but there's still on many of the days a pretty heavy mental undertone. So the invitation that we're being called into today and going forward this week is to really listening and hearing. Okay, Stephanie. Okay, Rosalie. So the invitation is to really bring that head, that mental spinning, if you're experiencing it still at all this week, inviting your mind down into your heart space and say, hey, let's just explore down here and see what's coming through here, and see what's possible here. Like, you get to direct your mind and direct your thinking in every moment. You are not at the whim of your mind, and you can bring your mind down into your heart anytime you choose. Sometimes it takes a little practice and time to really be able to make that connection on days when you're really spinning. And that's when I reach for the tools. That's when I do stuff like I did this week, where I'll reach out for those MetaQ replays, or you can go to the Thriving Thursdays and go to some of those activations. Just choose one that's calling to you, because there's a lot of benefit in just receiving a little help and getting your vibration up a little bit, so that then you can make the shift yourself. You don't need anyone else to help you make the shift, but sometimes it just makes it a little easier, and there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that, if you're not in a space yet where you can do that for yourself all the time. We're moving through very, very challenging energies. We are probably in one of the most challenging parts of the consciousness shift between now and, I would say March, April, right? So just be gentle and kind with yourself and others. Be self-compassionate, be loving, and just allow and trust that you're getting exactly what you need to be getting. There's no one showing up here in this group who isn't making efforts, who isn't trying to really get this. And, just be gentle with yourself. Know that you are getting what you need to get, and that whatever you're hoping will click in in your divine timing. That's not something we control, That's just something that is it just is. And so trusting that and allowing that to drop in for you in just the right moment, and trusting that while you're going through that process, you're still going to be okay. You are okay right now in this moment and in every now moment. So I love you guys so much. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. And you're welcome, Martha. Thank you so much for joining today. I'd love to be here in community with you. And I look forward to seeing you again for Magical Mondays at 11 a.m. And until then, bye bye.